YouTube, one of my favorite unboxings. A lot of green boxes. Of course, a lot of brown boxes from Patek as well. And Marco is wearing his vest. The vest is back. It's gotten cooler outside. Happy to see that. Stay tuned. Where do you want to start, Marco? Let's start with this because it's not in the box. I want to get your hot take on the new ceramic Royal Oak.
So I actually just filmed a video recently with Adrian about like the best watches from AP to buy, and we also did one for Patek Philippe. And we mentioned like a lot of the new releases are just lackluster in the sense that they're just a lot more of the same. The chronos, the three-handers, etc. This is finally something that's totally different and out of left field, and I love it. I mean, it's just so good looking.
This watch, if you took the original Beast and you took it to a guy that does our PVD for us, we can make it look like the Offshore that they did in the ceramic. This one, not so much so, because they entirely changed up the dial, so. It's
also the brush. I mean, there's one thing about a ceramic Royal Oak that is hard to explain. Like the way that watch shines and pops is just unlike anything else, right? Like the brushing of the ceramic is just so crazy.
To try to get the typical AP finishes in, where you have the brush finishes and the high polish finishes. Remember, this is not a metal, this is ceramic, right? So that's all impressive on its own, and it weighs nothing.
It's like so awesome.
It literally weighs. It literally.
So good. It's such a good watch. All right, let's unbox a watch I literally just sold. So Roman told me.
So let me give a pretext. He walks in here. He knows that we received the AP Summer Edition, which is what's here. And he had a client that wanted one. As we're setting up with unboxing, because you know we got Dom, we got Ian, and miking up and all this, he's on the phone with this client. And he's like, best price, going back and forth. So, you know, existing client, got a better price. Right. And I said, the bonus is you get to watch your watch get unboxed live on unboxing literally in 3 minutes later. So this watch literally got sold before we even get a chance to unbox it.
Sorry guys. Well, this is the AP Summer Edition Offshore, rose gold with the white. What I like about this is it's such a distinct look, right? It's hard to find Royal Oaks, especially offshores, that they haven't done before and they didn't do in the newer releases, and this is one of them, and that's what I love about this.
Well, there is one out there just like it. It's literally the same watch, but the Byblos edition, the one that they made for the Byblos boutique. Right. Yeah, they literally made the same. They confused the crap out of everyone when they came out. Like limited edition, I think they made 100 of these, and then they did another 50 in the Byblos edition. Don't quote me on the numbers, right? But it's literally the same watch, and you know, this one doesn't say Byblos on the back, and the other one does. And this screams summer. Like you look at it, and it's called a summer edition. It's like the perfect rose gold with the white combo. Subdials are done extremely well. Just everything about it just works, you know, as far as it being a summer edition.
They said it's a white Power Ranger watch.
White Power Ranger watch, there you go. If you guys notice, we've been watching the last few unboxings, we've been getting a lot of Oysterflexes in, and the reason for that is because we're getting a lot of requests for Oysterflexes, be it yellow, rose, white, doesn't matter. This is actually outside of the yellow with the champagne dial. This is one of my favorite Oysterflexes, the white gold with that, you know, grayish, darkish, it's like not dark, not light gray dial. And I'm just happy to see that strap Rolexes or strap Daytonas in particular are just actually here to stay. Of course, the market has come down to earth on these things, which is why we're seeing such an increase in requests for these watches, because at the end of the day, aesthetically, it's a beautiful watch.
Yeah, these are also one of the best-selling Oysterflex and Daytonas, period. The Ghost Daytona, especially on Oysterflex with that ceramic bezel. It's like a more muted Panda Daytona, but in white gold on an Oysterflex strap. It just looks, it looks great.
People know it's a precious metal. There is a flex factor to it, but it's not as loud. Here's a Marco bag.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Let's see the
and I'll let Marco talk about this longer.
A.Lange Zone Datograph up down. Doesn't get much better than this. To me, still,
platinum.
Yeah, in platinum. Still the standard bearer, I think, for all in-house manual wind chronographs. Probably the greatest, at least in the modern day, manual wind chronograph movement ever made. Can
you dumb down the up and down part?
Yeah, the up down is just a newer release. So this is 41 millimeters, the up down being with the power reserve indicator at 6 o'clock. But yeah, that bicompact's subdial layout is just perfect with the big date.
Look, if you're one of those guys that wants a dress watch, but still wants size, since wants a little bit of heft, I mean, still goes great with a suit, still has the size. And conversation started.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And did you know, by the way, Adrian didn't know this, but technically speaking, with a tuxedo, you're actually not supposed to wear any watch.
I know.
Or you can wear only a watch with Hours and minutes. That's it. That's the technical rule.
Yeah. Nevertheless, great watch. I spoke to my friend Michael at Watchbox, and I talked to him about, you know, Lange in general. Very, very positive feedback. Very positive feedback in terms of sales, in terms of pricing. Again, like it's going up almost unnoticeably, but the prices slowly but surely over the last couple of years, are going up. Maybe I should wear this with a tux.
I think so. That's a baller. Yeah, that's just...
You think?
Yeah.
There's only one problem. I gotta pull out like half the bracelet.
That's fine.
I'm gonna ask you a question. If you had to choose 5980 or 5990?
In rose gold?
Yeah.
I would go 5980 because I think, first of all, it's just more wearable profile-wise. It's a little bit smaller and also a little less thick. And then second, this is the Nautilus that put them on the map. Like 5990 is an awesome release. It looks amazing, looks the business, right? But this is the quintessential Nautilus that I would say raised the rest of the Nautilus line when it wasn't that popular, right? This was, if I'm not mistaken, Adrian said this is the first Nautilus that trade over list. Yeah. First ever Nautilus.
So what I'm gonna say is, I agree with you. I go with 5980 over the 5990, even though I like them both the same for different reasons. What I wished for was a 5990 with the same blue dial, but in platinum, not in rose gold.
Like a 5976, the Chrono anniversary, but they do it in the 5990. Yeah. Okay.
Patek, if you're listening, listen to the man in the vest. I wish this was also not, this is somewhat a 𝗴𝗿𝗲𝗆𝗀 dial, if you will, right? Yeah. But it's still a dark brown / black, right? Black and rose just works, right? Now blue and rose also works, but black and rose work better. And that's just my opinion on it. Here's a sleeper for you, all right? And and I've said this before. Common sense will tell you there were a lot less of these made than there were of the blue dial, which is why I always found that to be a sleeper. Plus, I actually find this watch to be super clean with the white dial.
Yeah, and one thing I always mention, even, you know, it goes back to like an Explorer 2, the polar dial, right? It's hard to find nice white dial sports watches. There's not that many. Like
there's not. Black, plain.
Black, blue, you know, like there's a lot of them out there, but nice, very nice, well-executed white dial sports watch. You
have the 5711 white, you have the Royal Oak white, you have the Polar, and then you have the Vacheron Overseas white.
Yeah, but even the Vacheron Overseas, I think, is just not as clean as this. Personally.
Well, because it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit bulkier. This is not. Maybe I should wear this.
Quiet luxury.
I'm just gonna keep pulling out every watch and say maybe I should wear this. Why don't you guys comment below which watch I should wear for the weekend? I have a black tie affair this weekend.
That would actually be appropriate, yeah.
There's another Patek box in there, but I'm gonna go to a green box, and I'm excited because it's a big green box, and usually big green boxes come big AP watches. And this one is no exception. We have the Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak, Tourbillon. This is a white gold version. Very similar dial to the 5980, right? It's sort of black that fades out to like sort of grayish fume dial. The fact that I'm uber biased, that's my favorite brand. The fact that I feel that the Tourbillon is one of the most significant complications that were ever created by Louis Breguet going back a gajillion years.
AP Tourbillons are maybe the most underrated complication in the Royal.
Would you say Tourbillon as a complication has become underrated over the last few years with all the hype that's out there?
I think no, just because a lot of the Tourbillons from a lot of brands are a little bit unapproachable price-wise. So I don't think
Tourbillons have always been unapproachable.
Yeah,
that's always
I don't
been
think they're underrated as a complication. I think people just don't look to them as like a watch because they're just like, damn, that's just a lot of money.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's this watch go for roughly?
I'd assume well over 200, maybe a little less.
So when you're talking about, let's look at Royal Oak Turbs in general. There's many variations. One of my favorites is the rose one, right? The rose gold Royal Oak on a bracelet, just clean, simple. I do like this white one because even though it's subdued because it's a white metal, it still feels nice and heavy on the wrist. And for those that don't know, when I started in the industry, the flex was that little window, that little hole in the wall, as we like to call it, that is the tourbillon, and that was the flex. Anybody who was anybody, when they were buying something high-end, they're spending a lot of money, what they look for is that little hole in the wall, i.e. the watch being a tourbillon, which gave birth to a lot of random brands that were just putting out tourbillons because people wanted tourbillons. And we've gotten away from that. Yeah. And it's a shame because, again, to me, till this day, I feel like the biggest flex in horology is horology itself. Yeah. Right? The complications.
No doubt about it. And watchmaking has become extremely underrated, right? People have become more interested in the brand, the flex,
How about more interested in the resale value?
Right, and the resale value, right?
Exactly.
Whereas, you know, unfortunately, a lot of the watchmakers.
But this thing is gorgeous. The dial on this is absolutely amazing. What's in this Patek box? The answer is I don't know, but I will find out. I love this chronograph.
We can't get enough of these.
I love this chronograph.
I think this 5172 and the 5320 cream dial perpetual calendar are the two most undervalued complication Patek Philippe's in the market today. Manual wind chronograph, a blue dial white gold case with that incredible step, those stepped lugs, step case, the syringe hands, Arabic pilot style numerals. Under 60,000, I think, is a steal. Steal.
To me, this gives off a military vibe, which you don't get often from Patek.
Well, we just had even, for example, compare this, for example, versus the 5170 in rose gold we just had, right? When you look at this, this is a lot more sporty, much more wearable than a 5170. 5170 is more like a Calatrava.
I love that. I like that rose gold one.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, but it's much more dressy, right? It's more of like a Calatrava chronograph, and that's really the way it was designed. And it's just sporty, elegant. It just fits the bill. It's awesome looking.
It's also very comfortable on the wrist.
Oh my God.
And it's not too big and it's not too small.
Proportion perfect.
Thoughts on these pushers?
Pump pushers is
this is what it gives me, like a semi-vintage vibe, a military vibe. Like I imagine a pilot when I see this, especially due to the pushers. I like the watch aesthetically a lot. And let's do this and let's get to the Roman buys. Are you ready for this, Marco?
I'd like to say I was born ready, but I don't know about this. Oh boy.
I bought 4 of these.
Yeah, it's fine.
HYT, Marco.
Yeah. Actually, I can't even, I have to say this. HYT is such a hyper innovative watch brand that just went so like underappreciated and overlooked. And it's kind of a shame.
I'm going to stop you right there.
A lot of this
I'm going to stop you right there. HYT
really
came out. I'm going to agree with what you said in terms of innovation. So what's the innovative part about this watch? You'll notice that around the skull, you see this liquid, right? Right here. So it's that liquid that actually shows the time, right? So as the time goes by, the liquid goes down, it shows you the time. You have the power reserve, you have the seconds here, you have this seemingly what looks like a pump system that pumps that liquid through the watch, right?
The movement is extended.
And this is where the innovation comes in. The newer ones, this is one of the newer models, reminds me of 𝗙𝗂𝗃𝗀𝗃 a little bit, sort of that Mark Newson design, right? But innovation is not to be underlooked here because it's very innovative to make, the watch literally showing time by, pushing liquid around, well, in this case, a skull, because this is the skull version, right? They came out a little too soon, and what they ended up doing is they didn't put enough time and research and effort into these watches. I guess didn't put them through rigorous enough testing. They started breaking. That gave them kind of a bad name, and it kind of went under. And then I think somebody else took over the company. They slashed the retail prices because, back before retail, people were just looking at the ceiling saying, I think it should retail for 80 grand. Well, why, right? You're not Jaeger or Vacheron or, But nevertheless, they survived the storm. They're still here. Yeah, they're selling at pretty decent discounts, or, big discounts, really. But you get an innovative value, you get something that's different, you get something that somebody will look and say, oh, what the hell is that, right? And this is where HYT is today, as far as I'm concerned. They're here, they stay, they weather the storm. I appreciate everyone tuning in. YouTube, thank you so much. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Instagram, thanks so much for tuning in, bearing with us. Marco, thank you for joining me. We'll see you on the next one.